Good morning and welcome back to the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. Appreciate you joining us. If you're watching us live on Facebook, thanks for that. If you are listening to this later or watching the video later on our website at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast, appreciate that as well. Most of you know that they are free online at that location or at that URL, and you can catch them in the future if you happen to miss a show or just don't have time to listen to it in the morning. Please remember that the news is on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We are also online, as mentioned, and we are once a week in print on Thursdays. Your traffic today, normal delays. Beautiful morning, though. Backed up on I-12 westbound from about the Amite River Bridge all the way back to Juban. However, looking relatively clear with little pockets of traffic after that. Heading westbound into Baton Rouge. Minor delays on 190 4H Club Road and River Road where they come together, but that's also looking relatively clear. And some delays on 64 heading into Central. Most of your traffic looking to be moving away from the schools, including Walker, Denham, and Live Oak, where a lot of folks are shuffling out of there. Some minor delays at Arnold Road on Highway 447 as well. Your weather today, it's currently 42 degrees. It's going to be 69 for your high. That high in the 40s, but those highs are going to raise slowly throughout the week until Thursday. They're going to get up into about the mid-upper 70s, and then we're going to have another band of rain, and it's going to drop back down again to 40s and low 60s. So going to remain relatively cool, especially considering what we were used to for the majority of the week. So keep an eye on that. Please stay warm. Again, those showers will be coming Thursday, and of course, we'll continue talking about them throughout the week. Early voting kicked off with a bang on Saturday. 2,743 folks went and early voted. Quite a few runoffs, governor's race, Democrat incumbent, as well as Mr. Eddie Risponi, who's a Republican. They're in that race. House District 71, which is Buddy Mincy Jr., a Republican, versus Lori Calais, a Democrat. Secretary of State, I skipped over that, Mr. Kyle Ardwan, who is the incumbent, who won a special election last year. It was a Republican against Ms. Gwen Collins Greenup, who is a Democrat. And then we have Council District 6, which is again, it's Parish Council, District 6, against two Republicans. One is Mr. Derek Babcock, the other is Gerald McMorris. And then we have a special election replacing the Honorable Doug Hughes, who retired in June. That's between Mr. Brian Abels and Mr. Ernie Drake. So those are a couple of the elections that folks will be participating in. Also, Albany and Livingston, towns have measures on the ballot to allow alcohol sales inside the city limits. So please, we'll be keeping an eye on how those proposals do on Saturday, November 16th. Please remember, early voting runs from Saturday. Couldn't vote yesterday. So today, Monday, you can start voting now. No, excuse me, in an hour. They're open from 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily, all the way through this Saturday, the 9th, and then they will shut down. There'll be a week break, and then the election day on November 16th. You can go to the Denham Springs Walker Branch Library or the Registrar of Voters office in Livingston and vote in either place, up to you. So good luck to those folks who are participating in runoffs. I'm trying to think if I missed anybody. House seat, governor, Secretary of State, House seat, judge, parish council. Don't think so. At any rate, the state is selling property at Eden Church Road. Those of you who might be going through on 190, going through the Roundabout, there on the northeast corner, there's a large, it's about an acre and a half piece of land. There's a small little brick building on it. State's selling that piece of property. They're accepting bids through November 20th. Minimum bid is about $163,000. They're asking that you ship them, excuse me, to the DOTD real estate section. You can find that online at www.livingstonparishnewscom.com/news. Denham Springs got a 2-for-1 deal from FEMA. Some of you may have noticed, if you live in the Denham Springs area, that the north side has been receiving some drainage improvements. The canals behind Immaculate Conception Catholic Church and in front of St. Francis Episcopal Church have been repaired and relined since the flood. There was also quite a bit of drainage work going on in the Willows, wherein some culverts had collapsed especially or had experienced some damage during the flood. Those culverts have been replaced, new catch basins, a lot of work going on drainage-wise in North Denham Springs. I-12 westbound and as well as Highway 16 are facing lane closures this week. In both cases, one lane will remain open of traffic. However, DOTD recommends that you take detours instead. The Highway 16 work is the same thing that's been going on for a couple of months now as they work on 16 from Fairlane Farms all the way up almost to the fast food 4-way or Lockhart Road. They recommend that you try to take Cock. If you must go up 16, if you live there or work there, there will be one lane open. These are nightly closures, by the way. The I-12 westbound closures will be between Albany and Livingston. They'll be adding a concrete apron so that they can put down cable barriers in between both sides of the interstate. So that's kind of step one of that process. There was an overturned truck in the Walker Roundabout Friday morning. That would be this past Friday morning, November 1st. Caused quite a bit of controversy. Of course, those roundabouts are still relatively treacherous. Still a lot of problems going on there. And as folks kind of the sort of nuance that goes into those roundabouts there at I-12 and 447 in Walker. And of course, that caused backups and delays all the way up until about noon on Friday. Still trying to figure out exactly what was in the truck. I believe it was industrial construction supplies. Football roundup, real quick. Please remember that we always do a football show. We record it on Wednesdays, release it on Thursdays. I sit down with Rob DeArmond and William Weathers, our sports guys, and we talk about the week previous and the week coming. This past week, Walker kind of pulled away from Denham late into the third quarter and into the fourth, setting up a district champion showdown with Zachary at Zachary this Friday, so it's going to be a big game. Live Oak fell to Scotlandville. Kind of that loss to Zachary was tough for them. They had a good win against Denham, but otherwise they've had some struggles since then. Springfield just couldn't capitalize against St. Thomas. Thought they might have a district championship in their sights for the first time in quite a few years, but St. Thomas proved to still be just a little too much for them. And Albany toppled Beauchamp at home. To kind of set up the end of the district slate here. And this will be week 10 action. Believe it or not, high school football is just about over. We'll be heading into, we'll be heading into the playoffs, and there are several teams that are currently slated to make the playoffs. So we will keep you apprised of that. Keep an eye on it, but rolling, we're definitely on the downhill here. Heading into basketball soon. Some basketball action has started. I know Holden and Doyle ladies have already started playing, so keep an eye on that. Big Mike celebrated his 30th year in business on Saturday and Sunday, technically. He kept the party rolling all weekend, had bands out in his parking lot on Saturday, and then on Sunday did an animal rescue / car show, I guess you can say tandem adventure, and so he kept the party rolling all weekend. Congratulations of business. Walker's Veterans Parade was Saturday. Mr. David Gray will be coming out with a photo gallery of that sometime in the next 24 hours. A lot of fun there. It was a long event because this year, instead of just a parade, they ended at Sidney Hutchinson Park, where they had a lot of family-friendly things going on during that period. So please check that out once David releases it. Miss Ellen Powell Prine of Denham Springs turned 104 about 2 weeks ago. So we finally got all that stuff online. Congratulations to Miss Prine for hanging around for over 100 years. That's an impressive mark. Would love to know what she does to stay healthy, because I clearly need some. So congratulations to Miss Prine and her family, for being able to share those family experiences for as long as they have. Happy birthday. Everybody wish her a happy birthday. Let's come around one more time. Normal delays again on your traffic. Backed up on I-12 westbound right about the Amite River Bridge to Juban Road. There's also intermittent delays after that, but not too bad, probably because everybody sort of held back right at that point due to an accident on the side of the road. Juban and 190 experiencing some delays at the moment, so please try to avoid that area. 447 north and 1025, some delays. Burgess heading eastbound in Walker. Heavy delays as folks are dropping their kids off at Walker High School and coming that way, or dropping their kids off, of course, on Freshman High, which is right there. Heavy delays on Hatchell and 16 in Denham Springs as those schools let in and let out, and heavy delays on North 16 in Watson as folks are dropping their kids off. Minor delays, however, on 64 heading into Central. Minor delays on 190, 4-H Club Road, and River Road where they come together heading into Baton Rouge. So those would be good bets if you're heading into Baton Rouge today to take those two arteries. It would be 190 and 64. Please remember, it's currently 42 degrees. 69 is your high today. There will be a cold front Thursday, so it is going to warm up steadily during the week. Your highs are still going to stay in the high 40s, low 50s. Your lows are still going to stay in the high 40s and low 50s. Your highs are going to end up somewhere in the mid to upper 70s until Thursday. Bands of rain are going to come through and are going to, end up bringing in a lot of cold weather. A lot of cold weather again. I'm going to check my notes here real quick because I want to be sure. I really feel like I forgot one of those runoff races. Yes, I did. So I'm going to run back through that real quick because one of those gentlemen was on, and that would be Mr. Greg Spears came on the show last Thursday. Bessie District 6 is also in a runoff. That's between two Republicans. Mr. Greg Spears, as mentioned, he was on the show last week. And Mr. Ronnie Morris, a Republican of Baton Rouge. So again, those runoff races, after 2,750 people voted early on Saturday, and of course early voting again runs from today, Monday, 8:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. until Saturday, November 9th. You can vote at the Denham Springs Walker Branch Library or at the Registrar of Voters office in Livingston. Those runoffs are Governor, again, Mr. John Bell Edwards, a Democrat, Mr. Eddie Risponi, a Republican, Secretary of State, Mr. Kyle Ardwan, a Republican, and Ms. Gwen Collins Greenup, a Democrat. House District 71, that would be Mr. Buddy Mincy Jr. and Ms. Lori Calais, a Democrat. The aforementioned Bessie District 6, that's the Board of Elementary and Secondary Education. That would be Mr. Greg Spears, a Republican, and Mr. Ronnie Morris, a Republican. Then you have Parish Council District 6, two Republicans, Mr. Derek Babcock and Mr. Gerald McMorris. And last but certainly not least, the special election to replace the Honorable Doug Hughes, who retired on June 30th. That is between Mr. Brian Abels and Mr. Ernie Drake. They are running for 21st Judicial District Court Judge, Division D. Again, the trick there to saying that correctly is saying it slowly. Thanks again for joining us this morning on the Livingston Parish News Morning Show. My name is McHugh David, publisher and editor of the news. If you can't catch these shows at any time when we record them, please remember they're at www.livingstonparishnews.com/podcast. We have audio and video versions there for you to choose from. They are free. You just click on them and either listen to them or watch them. That's up to you. We're also on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube. We're online, as mentioned, and we are once a week in print. Hope you have a great day. It is a beautiful day. It's relatively cool, but it's nice and enjoyable. And we will be back at you tomorrow morning talking a little bit about the master plan. So keep an eye out for that. Hope you have a great day.